Alright, what's going on, brothers? Back again with another video. In this one, I'm going to be talking about how God will bless you as a man on semen retention, and how semen retention can bring in some of the greatest blessings you've ever experienced. Just for the simple fact that, so the reason why you'll get some of the greatest blessings you've ever experienced is you're giving up the thing that is the largest temptation that a man has. Really, that a human has in general. You have to consider sexual energy as the reason that everything exists. Is there's a polarization and then a unification of masculine and feminine energies. And so everything, animals, everything are all driven by their sexual desire. And as humans, we are as well. We're all here because of that sexual desire that our fathers and our mothers had for each other. Now, for us as men, this drive and this desire is extremely powerful, right? It's why we create all the things that we create as men, that they've done everything they've done, conquered lands, created things, Elon Musk making rocket ships, shit like that. That's all so they can get laid, right? Dudes are going out and making money and buying nice cars and buying nice clothes. This is all so they can get laid, okay? So when you make a sacrifice of this energy and you don't stimulate this energy, you just get blessed as you move throughout the planet. So I'm going to talk about some things that have happened to me recently that have been really meaningful. So I was driving to Memphis because my friend was giving me a free ticket for club level seats. So I got free food and free beer at a Memphis game. So I got to go with my best friend. We got free food, free beer, club level tickets. It was great. Free little trip to Memphis. I was the first person that wasn't his or his wife's family to hold their new daughter. She was 3 weeks old when I held her. Things like that. That's little stuff that people don't really think are impactful, but when someone, trusts you like that, it's a big thing. So on my way to Memphis, I was praying to God and I was saying, God, you know what? This streak that I'm on, I'm going to maintain this streak until I get on my purpose, right? Until you help me out to find my purpose and get on my purpose and figure out what I'm supposed to be doing with my life so I can start a family and just feel contentment within myself. Well, later that day, I got a phone call for a job from a guy that I haven't talked to in a few years, but I used to work with him. And then the very next day, I got a phone call from a friend I hadn't talked to in years. He offered me a job. And then I got a phone call from another friend for some political work that I'm helping him. I've already been helping him out, but there was more stuff coming up. So in 2 days, I got 3 phone calls from people I knew for work, right? And I was praying to God about this. Like, help me, find a job or make money on the internet. Whatever it is, help me find something that's going to satisfy me a little bit, that I'll be able to deal with and be able to do. So that happened. Now, a couple nights ago, my brother was running his mouth to me about some stupid shit that I didn't want to hear. So I left the house and I go to this Asian restaurant that I've been to a couple times, and I sit down and I'm sitting there and I'm like, I don't want to fucking sit here alone. I've done this shit since I was like fucking 22 when I moved out to LA. I've been going to restaurants alone and eating out alone just because I got to get out the house or something. And I was like, man, I'd rather have my friends here or some fucking woman here, or I'd rather just be at home and eat at home and not have to listen to my fucking brother. But that wasn't the case. And so I started thinking about one of my friends that I hadn't seen in a couple weeks. And I was like, man, I need to hit him up and see what he's doing tonight. Lo and behold, I see his grandma in the parking lot. She's walking towards the door. And next thing you know, I see his mom, and then his daughter, and then I see him, and then I see his dad. I'm like, what the hell? So they walk in, I say hello. This is my best friend from my childhood. Like, we played football in the snow together. We did everything together. We raced our bikes, all of it. So they're all there, and I sit down to eat with them, and it's like old times. You know, I'm like eating with my best friend's family, and his dad paid for my food. You know, I didn't expect that, but his dad covered my food, which was nice. And then yesterday, I had to go to the DMV. So if y'all have ever been to a DMV, you know how that shit is. You're going to be there for a couple hours. So I walk into the DMV, I get my little ticket, I sit down. I've been sitting down for 1 or 2 minutes, and this guy walks up and says, "What letter do you have?" I say, "Q." He said, "Here you go, brother." He handed it to me. I had Q333, and he handed me Q330. And so I got jumped in line, and I looked at his shit. It had been nearly an hour. It said 11:09 a.m., and I got in at like 11:52. I think that's what my ticket was, 11:52, 11:53. So his shit was nearly an hour. I ended up waiting for 20 minutes. I was in and out the DMV. Can you believe it, dude? So, oh, and I also went to the cigar bar, was talking to this guy, and he gave me a free fucking cigar. This was a couple weeks ago. I got a whole cigar for free from a guy that works at the shop. Right, he works there and gave me an entirely free cigar. So these are the things that happen. You know, it's going to be little stuff, and a lot of it you've got to understand when you do retain is what's going on in your head. Whatever's going on in your head that like you want will come to you easier. It's just going to be a little bit easier, and you're going to get random blessings like this from God. Just little things. Every single time I go on a long streak of retention, I save money. People give me discounts for nothing, dude. I can go to the gas station to get fucking Slim Jims and a Gatorade. I don't eat like that, but if I did, if I got something like that, the people will just punch in and I'll see like 15% discount just pop up on there, and they're just saving me $1 or $2, right? It's little things like that that build up over time, you know, that really make you understand and realize how important retention is and how much it can do for you. If you think about the James Bond movies, a common theme in James Bond movies is he's at a casino playing cards, and a woman will say, "I admire your luck, Mr. Bond." Right? That's like a common thing that happens throughout the movies, is he's a lucky guy, right? They're posing these movies a certain way. He's cool, he kills people, he doesn't really care about girls, he'll smash them and go back to work and all this stuff, right? He's an assassin, he's cool as shit, but he's also super lucky. He just gets super lucky by some chance, and he's got this confidence that he's gonna be lucky. Right? He's like, we'll play the odds. Even if they're against me, we'll play it. And then it works out in his favor. This is what semen retention does to you. It makes the James Bond movie come into real life, where you just have extreme luck all the time. And I personally think that it's because giving up your sexuality as a man is the hardest thing you can do. It doesn't matter what else it is. It's the hardest thing for you to do. Long term, lifelong, because biologically you're driven to do it, but also just the simple fact of the pleasure that you could experience, the life you could live with all these different women and stuff, the temptations that come your way when you're retaining, and you fight against all of that stuff and you don't give in, you get super big blessings from God, because it's just the hardest thing for you to do, right? Like, an alcoholic who quits drinking doesn't just start randomly getting lucky. They don't just start randomly having things just like work out for them. Maybe they do. Maybe they do, because it's a big sacrifice for them and stuff. But I saw my brother getting off of alcohol. He's drinking again, unfortunately, but I saw him getting off of it, and it was hell for him. He was having such a hard time. And it's like, with retention, when you're quitting the P word, I have to say that because I've said the actual word in my last couple videos and they haven't done well, and I think that's the reason. But when you're quitting the P word, it's like everything is just good. Everything just gets better. It's not that bad. Like, dudes will talk about the flat line and stuff. Yeah, you'll have a flat line and you'll be kind of evened out and stuff. But like, that's really just life, right? Like, you need to just be more active. You're not really used to it. Your body's and your mind is used to lethargy and low energy. So you've just like boosted yourself up and your body's going back to this low energy. All you have to do is stay active through that flat line. Like, I'm talking physically active, like shaking and moving, getting stuff done in your life. And you don't even notice that there's any type of flat line. You're just working. The thing about semen retention is you can put higher demands on your brain and your body and it can handle it. You have that excess energy to do these things, right? So, a lot of guys are looking for women when it comes to semen retention. I mean, let's tell the truth. I think back in the day, 5 years ago, 6 years ago, right around the COVID time, 6 years ago, semen retention was a lot more pure of a practice because there was a lot of dudes talking about it and they wanted girls. That's what they were talking about. They wanted girls. Now it's like all this esoteric and da 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 da, and people are raising their consciousness, and it's really just a bunch of dudes that have nothing better to do. So they're just kind of becoming neurotic when it comes to semen retention. I mean, you've got to be honest with yourself and what you want from your life. You need to retain. It's going to raise your sexual energy. You're going to have more of a sexual drive, more of a libido. So you need to go out, work on your body, work on your finances, and ask girls out and go on dates and find a good girl that you want to date. Find a woman that you could see yourself marrying one day, right? That's what you're supposed to be doing. It's not for this. All these dudes are trying to overcome their sexuality, and you're never gonna just completely overcome your sexuality, bro. Like, you're a normal fucking human, and you need to admit that and acknowledge that, like, okay, I'm a human and I have a sexuality, right? This is where the people like get into problems with semen retention. It's getting erotic. They're like someone trying to lose weight who becomes anorexic, right? Like, there's a guy that I've seen on retention videos who like had a girlfriend or was going out with a girl or something, and he broke it off with her because he wanted to have sex with her. And he said that he's going to retain for the rest of his life. Now, this guy's older than me. I don't know what he's done in the past. I don't know what maybe he needs to do that. There was a woman in the Bible, a saint. I think her name was like Saint Mary something. But she was a harlot. I think she was like an actual prostitute. And like Jesus came to her, whatever, and she went for the rest of her life in repentance. Like, the rest of her life, she was repenting. She literally spent her entire lifetime repenting. Now, maybe this guy needs to do that. Maybe that's what he needs to do. But the average guy, that's not what you need to do. You need to spend a little bit of time away from women, separate yourself, get control of yourself. That's really what it comes down to, is retain long enough to where you get over that, because you're going to have, like, right after a relapse, like, you want girls, and then you start retaining, and you want girls even more. It's just like, oh my God, they're so hot everywhere I go. You've got to get past that insanity that comes in that first, like, 30 days of retaining, where it's real strong, and you get into the 60 to 90 day range to where it's kind of normal, and you're like, okay, I'm not really controlled by a woman anymore. Yeah, you're good looking, but what else is there, right? So, like, I was in the gym the other day, and a married woman was checking me out. She was probably in her late 20s, right? I'm 30. I could tell she was just wanting me to look at her, right? That's when a woman is checking you out, that's a lot of what it is she wants you to check her out, right? So she was doing that stuff. She was doing all this stuff. I could see it, and I didn't look at her. I was ignoring her, and she had a ring on her finger. That's what I looked for, because I thought I had seen something flash in my eye. And I looked, she had a ring on her finger. And of course, I'm like, well, this is why I don't trust women, right? This has happened to me so much, it makes me not trust my own woman that I would be with. And then yesterday in the gym, there was a woman with a fake ass and possibly fake boobs. I don't know. She had both sides were large. Her ass and her boobs were large. And but her ass was very obviously fake. Same with her. She was wanting me to look at her, right? Wanting me to check her out, because I didn't. And these girls are used to being checked out by men. And that's the distraction that you've got to be able to get over to where you can start actually picking up women you like. Is where you can get to a point to where it doesn't bother you to not check a woman out. Even if she is beautiful, you don't need that stimulation for your brain, right? That's not like a thing that you need. That's not a desperation that you have. When you get to that point, you can start asking women out and you'll have more discernment for who you date and who you don't date. So I wanted to make this video to encourage y'all to understand that blessings will come on semen retention. You're going to get lucky because you're doing a great thing. So make sure that you guys retain. All right, gentlemen, like the video, comment what you think, subscribe to the channel, and have a good one.